This is Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5.
Christine Manning spends her free time at the range.
I have my target gun for my bullseye target. I have the shotgun for sporting clays.
Jeff Riopel recalls his first time.
I could barely pull the trigger on it because I had no idea what I was doing.
Bay State gun owners, who they are, what they want you to know. Getting a gun license in Massachusetts.
What exactly is the process and where do you begin?
How to hold it, how to load it, unload it, aim it, grip, stance.
From instruction to the police chief's okay.
It's something you don't want to make a mistake on.
Plus, arguing both sides.
All mass shootings, the common denominator are military-style assault weapons.
If we're okay with people owning guns, why shouldn't they own those?
Guns, next on Chronicle.
Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow, some 1 million people are expected to gather in Boston, Washington, D.C., and across the country, calling for tighter restrictions on guns. The March for Our Lives, as it's called, was sparked by the February shooting deaths of 17 people at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
Meanwhile, conversations about gun violence stretch from Congress to America's kitchen tables. Yet one group has rarely been heard. We're talking about the millions of peace-loving, law-abiding gun owners in this country. We met up with two such owners who live here in Massachusetts. Jeff Riopel is 32 years old. He's married, enjoys travel, and owns 2 rabbits.
Oh, you're being super cute.
Riopel is also one of more than 400,000 Massachusetts citizens licensed to own and operate a firearm in the Commonwealth.
The earliest I ever shot, I remember I went with my grandfather and my uncle to a trip. I shot a 6-shot revolver, and I could barely pull the trigger on it because I had no idea what I was doing. And then I didn't shoot for a long time, but I did play paintball and that kind of thing when I was younger. My immediate family, they're not really into it.
Riopel was reintroduced to firearms by a friend in college.
It was a buddy of mine who lived in Connecticut who had his gun license and had some guns. He was like, hey, I can go sometime. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. When I first got my license, I was kind of just looking for something to do.
But then something happened. The marathon bombing of 2013. It was personal to Riopel, who had worked the finish line in previous years. It made him reevaluate his relationship with guns.
Kind of started watching a lot more of what was happening around the world and in the U.S. and stuff like that. I kind of started to see it more as a means of protection and, a safety tool.
With Riopel's change in focus from hobby to personal protection came a desire to learn more, which led him here. To Tactical Dynamics, a school that works with students of all levels. Courses range from basic gun safety to simulated real-world scenarios. It may be alarming to see civilians training this way, but for Riopel, now a teacher for the company, training is crucial.
Just because you strap a gun on your belt doesn't mean you're going to get that big Superman S on your chest, okay? We say in our class that the S doesn't stand for Superman, it stands for stupid. It's not your last and first tool. It's, merely the last resort, the absolute last resort. Being responsible is just training up to that level, that if you had to use it, you'd be able to use it effectively. I think the biggest stigma about gun ownership that I've seen is that if you are a gun owner, you are a killer. You are just waiting for somebody to break in so you can shoot somebody. That's not the case. I've trained people from every walk of life. I've had young kids come in, I've had older seniors come in, and everywhere in between, men, women, the whole gambit.
But one group stands out.
In general, I see women just shoot better.
One woman who supports that observation is Christine Manning, a Massachusetts gun owner with a very different story.
I think shooting is one of the things on my bucket list that I wanted to get done. My father was a Marine. We never actually had guns in the house growing up. He never even talked about it. He talked about Parris Island a lot, which is where they get trained for the Marines. So he really enjoyed it and actually wrote a book about his memoirs being a Marine. He was very proud of that. About 3 years ago, I saw an ad in the local paper for Women's on Target. And the description said, if you were interested in getting your license, this could be your avenue to get it. But I didn't want to buy a gun without knowing anything about them. So I joined the club without having a gun. I had started with pistol the first year, and then the second year I decided, I should probably learn a little bit more about shotgun and the sporting clays.
Shooting biodegradable discs traveling at 30 miles per hour is no easy task, but with practice, she makes it look easy. Manning owns several guns now, each with a specific purpose.
I have my target gun for my bullseye target. I have the shotgun for sporting clays. I would liken it to I'm a golfer as well. So if I'm golfing, I'm not going to use my driver to do a putt. And I'm not going to use my putter to do, tee off. So it's similar. I don't look at my guns as weapons, but, other people might. Anything can be a weapon. A knife can be a weapon, a golf club can be a weapon. It becomes a weapon after your intention is to hurt somebody, then it's a weapon. I think, anybody, again, who's responsible and gets the right training can handle a gun safely and enjoy it.
And how would her military father feel about her new hobby?
To be honest, I don't think he'd probably want me to maybe even do shooting. He didn't even want me to get a snowblower, but somehow I found it and I really love it.
And Christine Manning also is a mother. She emphasized the importance of keeping firearms securely locked to prevent unintended access to firearms.
And Jeffrey Appel added that he feels it's important not to group the millions of responsible gun owners with the disturbed individuals who grab national headlines.
Well, all day we've been asking for your thoughts about preventing mass shootings, and there's still time to add to that conversation on Chronicle's Facebook page.
In Massachusetts, no one gets a gun license without hometown police approval.
It's local control. So as a chief, you have a pretty good feel of who the people are that live in your community.